Did we start captures?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right, it is January 8th, 2025. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
It is now 3:33 p.m. And I'm going to call the Sumner County Library Trustee Board meeting to order. We're going to start with a roll call. Let's go first.
Erica Grammer.
Paul McCoy.
Kaylee Wilson.
Jim Holcomb.
Cecilia Maynard.
Pam Taylor.
Mike Bryan.
And Joanna Daniels. Jackie had told me she was not going to be here today. I did not get a notice from Shannon that I know of, unless someone got an email that came.
I just looked at it and see.
She's
yeah, I've
in
got my email.
Florida, I believe.
Okay, she
Last
didn't.
I heard.
Okay, she didn't notify us that she wasn't going to be here.
No, I just got a notice that she's in Florida. That's,
Okay, well, I didn't get a notice that she wasn't going to be here. So I also want to show that Cecilia and Caitlin are here as well.
Sorry, I was zoned out when you went through.
I was like, okay. You guys, we welcome you here. You can
Thank
say
you.
your names.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to start off with an invocation and bow our heads, and we can go ahead and pray. Heavenly Father, we just come before you right now. Amazing Almighty God. We thank you for today. We thank you, Lord, for your blessings, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to sit in these seats, Lord, and to serve our community. Above all, to serve you, Lord. Lord, we welcome the Holy Spirit with us today, Lord. We welcome you to be here with us. May every word that we say today glorify you and serve our community. Lord, we just ask that you be here with us. May hearts and minds be in alignment with you, Lord God. We thank you, Lord. We praise you, Lord. And pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we're now going to move on to approval of the agenda. And I would like to add something to the agenda. This was actually brought up to my attention by Susie, our note taker, that there's no calendar for the next year. And that was actually supposed to be done in November, but our 3-hour meeting in November, we didn't get that on the agenda. So I'd like to add that to M for calendar. And don't make fun of me, I'm going to have to grab my glasses. So I'll entertain a motion to amend the agenda and add M for calendar.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Kaylee. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And any abstentions? And now entertain a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Pam, or, okay, Pam, okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And any abstentions? No? Okay. We'll now move on to the approval of minutes from November 13th, 2024. Susie, thank you so much. Just want to say.
You're a saint.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 13th, 2024.
I noticed 2 minor spelling mistakes. I don't know if that matters.
Sure. Where's that?
On the 3rd page, under donations to Hendersonville Library,
Okay.
Shannon's name is spelled incorrect about midway through.
Midway through.
Oh, yeah, I left that in off.
Okay.
And then on the very last page, in that first paragraph, about 9 lines down, it says, Joanna asked if it should be there, not here. There were any grievances against.
Oh, there. That's me. Okay.
That's all.
All right. We appreciate the spelling and grammar corrections.
While we're on it, just to
Okay,
say,
while we're on it, okay.
on the last page in F, Cecilia's the director, not the assistant director.
Oh, that's where
It's
I
okay. We're both C names.
Okay.
had you on there last time.
I had to give her props.
And Cecilia, is your name, is Cecille, right? I probably
Yes,
spelled
so
it. Okay.
C-C-I-L-I-E.
I.
It's
I-E.
Okay,
I've
that's
never-
it.
No.
I just-
spells it wrong. No, just kidding.
C-E-C-I-L-L.
No, one L.
One L.
Yeah, I-E. There you go.
Okay. I just noticed that too. Okay. All right. So entertain a motion to adopt the corrections to the November 13th minutes. So moved by Kaylee. And do I have a second? Second by Jim. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Entertain a motion to accept the corrected minutes? Or did I just do that? Or,
I was just gonna tell you, just to smooth things out, you just say, do a motion to, accept as corrected.
okay, a motion to accept as corrected. Okay. So we did that already, or should we do that again?
No, you
Just do
just,
it.
you
Okay.
do need to do a motion to accept them. I'm
Okay.
saying in the future,
Okay.
you could do correction and acceptance at the same
So
time.
moved.
Got it.
Second.
Kaylee, thank you. Paul? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We're now gonna move on to December 13th, 2024 special called meeting minutes. Entertain a motion to accept the minutes. Kaylee, do you have a second?
Second.
By Jim? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, wonderful. All right, now we're gonna move on to recognition of the public. We have public here, but it doesn't look like anybody has signed up to talk, so we're all good. I would like to recognize that we have some friends people here. So would you gentlemen like to introduce yourselves? Fred?
You want to introduce yourself? Oh, excuse me.
No problem.
Fred Pasteur, I'm the president of the Hendersonville Library Friends.
Wonderful.
Art Chapman, I'm a board member of the Hendersonville Library Friends.
Wonderful.
Phyllis Stafford, I'm operations manager at Westmore Public Library.
Awesome. Thank you. And then we have the directors.
I'm Kathy at the Dallas Library.
Did you want to introduce yourself? You're welcome to. You don't have to. Okay. All right. All right. Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. All right. And now we are going to move on to the report of the chairman. All right. So, some things that were brought to my attention over the last 2 months that I wanted to bring forth in my report of the chairman. In order that those to whom we are accountable, which is the public understand that the policy we adopted, which is the collection development policy, and how it is being applied and administered, I thought it might be helpful to all concerned that we put some of the material that was recently brought to my attention onto the record so we can get feedback from those we represent and that fund the library. And I assume that there's no objection to this since the material is on our shelves for children to access. And so, and since this is material that's publicly available at the present time in areas that children have access to. So I'm just going to assume that this is going to be okay. I'm going to bring forth some of this material. Does anybody object with that? No? Okay. This has been brought to my attention that some of this material is in our Sumner County libraries and is in violation of our collection development policy. It is available for children to have access to. I'm just going to read you a few quotes from some of the books. Swept his tongue over her parting plump labia to tease her clit and taste the wet, scorching center of her cunt. Mine is boring compared to some of the crazy things that come up on Amazon when you type vibrator into the search engine. There are no beads or pearls or colors or natural replications here. It's just a slim white tube with a twist base on it. It's quiet like prayer, even quieter beneath my covers and tower. Only on the outside, the shaft pressed against flesh and bone, its tip infiltrates dark curls and parts lips to find my clitoris. And there she stood, in nothing but shorts, every detail of Sage's body damp body was revealed. This was the first time I'd ever seen an actual pair in real life. Brenda, who was not as well endowed, never let me this close. My hand raised gently touched her hips. She was right, her skin was soft, her body quaked. There I stood, holding a topless woman. I could feel her stomach expanding with each breath. She guided me upward. Sage wanted to be touched. She wanted me to touch her. I removed my shirt and sat next to Sage. She smiled at me. When I tried to kiss her, she fell backward onto the bed, her body on display. She was mine. If I wanted her, I touched her skin. Logan, please be gentle. It's my first time. I kissed her, but not on the mouth. Mine, too. We didn't speak again for another 2 hours. So you can suck mommy's tits. The illustrations on the page depict a nude man falling from the sky in various poses. In the illustration on the top of the page, the man's penis is shown. In the middle image, the man's buttocks is shown. You know, Jake, church camp is the best place to score pussy. I was feeling up that one blonde girl last night. That's her. The illustration on the top of the page depicts a woman lying on her stomach with a shirt on nude from the waist down. Her buttocks is shown from a profile view. And this is just the not so bad ones. And then one other. The man was telling the younger boy, "Yep, it's your turn. But first we need to go to the other room." The man is pulling the young boy's underpants down to his ankles. The young boy's nude buttocks is exposed. And then lastly, the illustration at the top of the right side of the page depicts a young boy sitting with a hand shielding his face. His pants are pulled down to his ankles, leaving his penis exposed. These are books that have been brought to my attention that are either in the young adult section of our libraries and or is in an area that is accessible to children and is either on the floor area or in an area that any child can access to. And as to concerns how the law applies to what we must and must not make available to children, I've been doing a little digging and would like to present some Supreme Court precedent bearing on the subject that I was not aware of and may be helpful to this board. The Supreme Court decisions is Barnes v. Glenn, Theater, Inc., 501 U.S. 560 from 1991. As an opinion by the Chief Justice, he wrote, "Public indecency, including nudity, is a criminal offense at common law, and this court recognized the common law roots of the offense of gross and open indecency." I also want to point out that the public indecency at common law, which is the foundation of our Constitution and our legal system, includes something less than nudity. Therefore, I'd like to assume that whether the nudity and open indecency is in a book, in the public, or in a public park, that I hope you would agree with me that it is still indecent and goes against the law and definitely the policies that we have in place. With that being said, I would just like to say to the board and to the public that moving forward, that the board is going to make sure that all of our libraries are in compliance with the collection and development policy so as to make sure that children are not exposed to anything that might harm them. And with that, I'm going to move on to old business.
Can I ask Joanna what the titles are for those books?
I can send them to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. We're going to move on to old business. The DMV kiosk. And I'm just going to ask that this be moved to old business again, only because, unless you guys want to, but I'll open this up for discussion for the DMV kiosk. I'll entertain a motion to open this up for discussion for the
So
DMV
moved.
kiosk. I apologize. Jim?
A second.
Second by Erica. All in favor say aye. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. I will be honest with you, I've not had a long time to look into this. I still feel that this isn't a place to be in the libraries, but I also don't know if you all, with the crazy holidays that happened and everything, I don't know if you all have had a chance to look into the DMV kiosks and what your thoughts are on this in the libraries.
From Millersville, Millers serves.
Well, this would be for any of our libraries to have it
Oh, okay.
in, because this is something that all of the library directors have received, and of course it would be something that we would have to approve,
Right.
but in all the libraries.
Do we have an idea of how many library directors want these?
To my knowledge, I know Anita does. I know that Amy had asked, Anita, Gabby, and Amy have sent this. Gabby, you sent this to me, right? Yes, those three people have sent this to me.
Okay.
And if I can just, I just want to remember, I think we talked about just briefly at another time that there were some locations that it just wasn't going to be the adequate space. It would be not the best use of that space. But that there are some areas are not necessarily needing them because there are things like that available locally. I know that's what we had discussed about Millersville specifically, if I remember correctly. But I think we had just passed it on to just think of the big picture of it, correct?
Mhm.
Is that what?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to look further into it or talk with them about it.
And I just want to say, and this is nothing to do with making the decision, but the person who was in charge when we sent that out the first time has retired. So if you go ahead and contact somebody, it's probably going to be, you need a new name.
Okay.
Do you have the name? of
Yeah,
somebody?
I'll send it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Given that information,
Move it to old business.
I move that we move the kiosk, DMV kiosk, to old business again.
Okay. All right, second by Mike.
Business, you don't need to worry about that.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Now we're going to move on to new business. And at the top of new business is to welcome Paul McCoy.
Hey!
To the library board.
Thank you all. That's a very warm welcome.
Would you like to take a minute and say anything?
Sure. For those of you who don't know me and are like, who is this weird guy who's sitting here who hasn't been here before? My name's Paul. I have lived in Sumner County since 2019. I've lived in Tennessee since 2003, maybe 4. It's a little blurry. Three. And I grew up in southern Kentucky in a little town called Burkesville. If you know Dale Hall Lake, that's my backyard. I grew up fishing on those waters and love it to pieces. So this part of the world is home to me. And when my wife and I found Gallatin in 2019, I've got a 5-year-old, or he was 5, he's now 10, and just, 10 going on 26. We call this home. We love it. And I have 20-ish, no, in fact, in 6 weeks, it'll be 20 years working for a statewide nonprofit that does funding and public programming for humanities activities around the state, museum exhibits, library programs, reading discussion programs. We've done it for decades. Most of the work I do is with small organizations in towns like this, and a lot of museums. I work with a lot of museums. Before that, I worked at a museum in Franklin for about a year, and I've spent a quarter century now working with nonprofits and cultural organizations. This is what I've loved doing all my life. That's why I keep doing it. So I don't make any money, but I keep doing it. So I make enough to get by. Anyway, that's me. I'm happy to be here. I've wanted to work with our libraries for a long time. I've wanted to be a part of this board for 2 years now, and I'm happy to be sitting here. I hope I can help.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Okay, all right, so now we're going to move on to the letter from Mayor Clary. Can I motion to open that up for discussion?
So moved.
Moved by Jim. Do you have a second?
Mike.
Oh, Mike, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, so this is a letter y'all should have received. I received this via mail actually to here. And they told me I had a letter and I was like, what? So this is from Mayor Clary, talking about what he wants done with the library donation. He even decided to go to the news about it as well. And I just wanted to send this to you guys. I also emailed you this afternoon. I apologize. I got a letter from Alicia about what she feels that the money should be used for. And again, the will is to the Hendersonville Library. And when Mayor Clary is talking about, opening the Hendersonville Library for more hours and using the donation, I as a board member, but also as a citizen of Hendersonville, taking a one-time donation to create something that will have reoccurring costs, I don't feel that that's really a good move. But he is going after it. So anyway, so I wanted you guys to also see, this letter was sent to, from Alicia, was sent to Jeremy and Commissioner Mansfield and Commissioner Klein, because at Gen Ops on Monday, I think that I did not get to see it, but I was told that it was going, because this money has to be accepted by the commissioners first. It does not have to go through budget first. It actually has to go through the commissioners first. It has to be accepted by the commissioners first. Go ahead.
I can expound on that
Oh,
if
you
you'd
can.
like. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Uh, If you don't know who I'm the law director for the county.
Yes.
So what happens is whenever somebody leaves a bequest to a county like we have here, which the library is the focus of it, well, it still comes under the county's purview. In the county, the very first thing we have to do is do a resolution to actually accept the gift. Because if we don't, and it does, for some reason doesn't pass commission, we have to give the money back to the estate and do what we call disclaim the gift. And then it goes back, and then this is moot. There's nothing else to discuss. But any discussion about what to do with that money's really academic until we can officially say we have the money. So until that happens, there's really not much discussion to be had as to how it's done. Now, this board, if you don't mind me going a little further, this board does not dispense funds. It doesn't receive funds. Therefore, the county maintains the funds. That means that any requests for the funds are going to have to go through budget. There's going to have to be an appropriation for those funds. Now, those funds will be held for one specific purpose, the Hendersonville Library. How it's spent on the library will then become the political beast that everything becomes once that occurs. So that's pretty much it in an overview.
When was, oh, I'm
Go
so
ahead,
sorry.
go ahead.
When was the money
Donate.
bequeathed to
Yeah.
the Hendersonville Library?
A check was dispersed and it was put in a locked account. So the money's sitting in our account. It's just never been accepted.
And how long ago was that? can't-
I couldn't tell you. I don't have that file in front of me, but it's been some time.
Okay.
And it just now, people started asking questions about it, and that's where it came to my office. We said, well, we got to accept it first. So that's what's put us where we're at now.
The money that's in the, can it draw interest where it's sitting now? That can be, like, can it serve as an endowment for the Hendersonville Library, is my question.
That money can only be spent on the Hendersonville Library.
But can it be used as an endowment? Can it stay in the account and as earn interest, and that interest can be used year to year for the
That money,
library?
we've got as a county and through the comptroller, we've got specific ways we've got to set up these accounts. And we have a finance director who's probably one of the best I've ever seen. And he's going to have it in the appropriate account to get the most amount of money as possible. But it is locked and nothing will happen to that money until we accept it.
Of course, yeah.
I can't give you the financial.
No,
I
just
suck
wondered
at
if it was
math, that's why I went to
possible,
law
if
school.
that's something that could happen.
Correct.
The thing that makes me a little nervous about this is, it's a very sizable life gift. The amount of money that most of us will never see at one time. But, it's an endowment level money that, it's different because this is a county operation, but for most nonprofits, this is a dream because it's an endowment. It's something that every nonprofit needs. I'm worried about future donors who might want to give a similar life gift, that if they do, they're not going to want to see that money go to, like you were saying, Joanna, additional hours, because then we run into a problem. What happens when the money runs out?
Yeah.
Those hours can't happen. But the other thing, what happens if we spend it on fixing windows or replacing carpet or repairing a toilet, deferred maintenance issues? That gives me a little concern too, and a little cause for pause. But to think, how can that money continually support the mission of the library year after year after year, long past all of our lifetimes, and be, a true life gift? I don't know Miss Phipps. Don't know the first thing about her. I don't know her, but did she have any specifics when she gave this money? Like she wants to go to this, just,
It doesn't matter what her intentions were, it's gonna be what the will says. And
That's-
the
that's
will, the
in-
will doesn't dial it in very much other than use it on the Hendersonville. Well, actually,
Okay.
it says use it on the Hendersonville library located at, and it's got the old address. So we're kinda playing loose there by saying, all right, she would want it to go to this other location.
okay.
So that, we're getting around that one, but,
I would just, a warning about using a bequeathment like that for deferred maintenance and operations. It should go really toward mission priority specific things. But the other thing is the board should probably develop a policy for gifts, that anytime a gift comes to the library, it has we avoid this very conversation in the future. We know exactly how to.
I can't guarantee you what somebody's will's gonna say. There's too many variables in this.
But-
All I can
yeah.
do is take it as it comes.
That's true.
And that's where my job ends, is I tell them what needs to be done to get it where, how you all wanna deal with the money.
Sure.
I get the benefit of saying,
And this would just be in the event that, a gift came through with no strings, like do with this, this goes to the benefit of this library. We have a policy in place that tells us, well, this is how we'll do that. But
I wonder.
the
if-
only problem with the policy is gonna be is if the, gift in the will does something contrary to your
of course,
policy.
then that overrides the policy, because you can't.
You would have to say
Spell
that in your
that out,
policy.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're
Yeah.
getting into a hole, to try and
Yeah.
stay on track, you could create other problems down the road. That's the
Yeah.
biggest problem with policies and things of
You're
that
right.
nature.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking outside the box
Sure.
here. But the only thing I can safely answer is this one here.
Okay, yeah.
And that, had she been specific, I want it spent only on books. Whatever she had put down, that's how, I want 47 magnolia trees planted there. Well, that's what it would be 47 magnolia trees out
It gotta be
there.
small, magnolia.
I
So,
wonder, some of our libraries have gotten quite large gifts in the past, and Clarksville had quite a big, what was it called, an endowment for they had
The
a Gracie Found,
Yeah, it's a little.
but they would have there was a family in Clarksville that wanted to give a recurring gift every year, and it was for a 30-year, it was a trust, that's right. So the library could access it, but it was in a trust. But they have a foundation that would control the trust. So I'm wondering if y'all had a foundation, what that would look like too. To take in big, because that's the purpose of a foundation, is to take in big money and then use it for the library. And it's not in the operational budget, which is nice.
well, I'm
too.
paid to see the glass is half empty. So the problem with that is,
Okay.
a lot of the wills I see that do have trust provisions in them, they create their own trust through that will. So
That's
you
what
can't, usually you
Gracie
can't
had.
just have a freestanding trust that just takes in
Dedicated to
everything. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Interesting.
I think to Paul's point, where we sit now with this money being held for an undetermined amount of time and not being used in Ms. Phipps' wishes, does not inspire a lot of confidence, I think, to people who would want to make similar bequeathments.
How long has this money even been sitting
Right.
there? Like, when did this get bequeathed?
I absolutely hear what you're saying about, hey, we wouldn't want a policy, but maybe does the county provide any guidance for anybody wanting to include the county in its will or trust? So that, again, something like this doesn't happen again. And again, if they want magnolia trees, great. If it's books, I think deferred maintenance stuff is actually beneficial, but I mean, I hear all the things.
Yeah.
Well, wherever there's a gray area, it's gonna be at the latitude of whatever your appropriation is and whoever votes it up.
Yeah.
So
What
that's
did
what you
Alicia,
deal
and that's
with.
why I had Alicia send that letter on to just what are the needs of the library board, of the library. And to what you're saying, even if half was used for something that needed to be, completed, because last year's budget for the Hendersonville Library was cut, and so there's stuff that the Hendersonville Library needs. They're the largest library, and it was cut last year. And so and then putting into something that maybe has a reoccurring interest. And my other question is that this money is in an account. Has it been drawing interest?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, you'd
Okay.
have to ask finance director that.
Okay. so I will ask about
I,
funding.
I tend to think if there was the ability to do that, he would have done that.
Yeah.
Ask about interest.
I
So,
do agree with you, Joanna, that if, I don't see a problem at all with using a portion of these funds to do some of those. I mean,
Great, an elevator didn't work.
it's the great thing to have,
They didn't
you know,
have
you've got a
AC.
huge amount of money, but like the bulk of it should continue to support programming
The
over
mission.
the years. So there's a sweet spot in there somewhere.
Did
Sure.
you say that
Yeah.
Alicia wrote down what she wanted it
Yeah.
to be used?
She did.
Y'all
You
are
want me
talking
to-
appropriations and you're really putting the cart in front of the horse right now, so, I mean, y'all, it's y'all's meeting, talk as long as you want, but you're gonna
Well-
be revisiting this.
yes, we're gonna be revisiting it. And then just one last thing, and maybe you can talk to this, because it talks about, Mary Clary says that he's a 50% owner of the library. I know that there's all kinds of things going on.
There are a lot of things going on. I won't speak to the mayor's letter.
Okay, all right, there we go.
When you said he, you mean the city of
The
Hendersonville?
mayor, the mayor, there's, I don't know if you know, there's a back and forth of the deed and everything, and in last year, trying to get, things, fixed at the Hendersonville Library was a complete disaster.
Right.
And the county had to come in and foot a lot of that bill.
I
Long
remember
time.
one racing to claim 50% ownership last year
I
on
know.
the library meeting.
Yeah,
But yeah, Pam, yes, I think that when she said that, she was referring to the city.
That's what I mean, yeah,
Yes,
the city,
yes.
not Mayor Clary himself, the city of
Correct.
Hendersonville.
Correct.
On behalf of Mayor Clary,
Yes.
okay.
but,
Thank you.
well, he just is as a 50% owner of the library, the city of Hendersonville looks forward to, yeah, in the city of, okay. Okay, wonderful, all right, so we will just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention and, discuss that and.
Is there a date for it to be on the agenda with the commissioners?
So I did not watch the,
I'm sorry,
general
what was the
ops.
question?
Is there
Gen
a
Ops.
date for the?
It was heard Monday and it's
Okay.
gotta go to one more committee and then no, I'm sorry, it's going straight to commission. So
Okay.
it should be on commission this month.
13th?
January,
Okay.
no, January 27th
Okay,
is the full commission.
okay, thank you.
So, yes. Okay, wonderful. Moving right along, I would like to move on now to the interim director for Westmoreland. And I'll entertain a motion to open up discussion for the interim director for Westmoreland.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? I have to pull this up because I did not get to print off her, oh, you said
It's
that
right
there
here.
is, oh, there is?
You should have it.
Oh,
It's in the packet.
it's in the packet. That's right, I did ask her to bring, I appreciate it, Phyllis. Okay. All right, wonderful. All right, as we know, Lauren will be moving on to the children's librarian at, at Portland. I will ignore Anita over there, just given the
There's
celebration.
a celebration around.
Celebration. You guys have before you, and I sent you an email, and I had asked Lauren about Phyllis. She said, yes, my current operations manager, Phyllis Stafford. She has operated as interim in times past, such as the time period before I was hired on and during my maternity leave. She currently has a county credit card for purchasing and can handle the day-to-day operations of the library. Her current responsibilities include handling about half of our monthly statistics, information, and all the ILLs, along with regular circulation duties and managing the clerks at the front desk. She says she's worked with her closely for the past 3 years, and she sent us her job history. And so what I'd like to do is entertain a motion to suspend Robert's rules, so we might ask Phyllis any questions if you guys want to, or do you want to just move on?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept Phyllis Stafford as the interim director of the Westmoreland Public Library.
Okay, do I have a second? Second by Kaylee. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions?
With our thanks.
Okay.
And
There you
best
go.
wishes.
Yes.
Thanks, Phyllis.
There you go. Thanks, Phyllis. Okay, all right. Moving on to separation paperwork for employees. Entertain a motion to open this up for discussion.
So moved.
So moved by Jim. Do I have a second? Oh, Mike?
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
Sorry,
All right,
I'm
wonderful.
talking
No
very loud.
problem. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, I actually, I wanted to, I did some research after the November meeting, because we were told by Amy that she didn't receive any training on separation paperwork, and so I wanted to go to ask, finance, and they said, well, there's no training on this. It's pretty self-explanatory, as a matter of fact, it comes with instructions on exactly what to do. And so I just wanted to bring this before you guys, just so you guys had it. And if it's something that we want to discuss and put a training around, I personally thought it's pretty self-explanatory. And until the one time, absolutely no director has come to us saying, we don't know how to do this, and we need training around this. And to my knowledge, there's not training in the county for this either. It's pretty self-explanatory. So, any questions on this? No?
So I guess if Amy had issues with it, maybe, obviously there was a need for training, maybe just taking some time to go through it. Because I'm assuming if you make a mistake that it's kind of scary. And that would just be my suggestion, that there is some type of training, just kind of going quickly through the form with them.
County doesn't have HR, do they?
Oh, what?
The county doesn't have an
HR
HR department?
HR, no.
Okay.
Is this for if someone is
To let
terminated,
go.
but not if they leave on their own accord?
Yes, this is for both.
Oh, both, okay.
Yeah, this is for both. It's pretty self-explanatory on there that it says that, reason for separation, discharge, quit,
Mm.
if lack, someone quit, someone gets discharged. It's self-explanatory.
Did she
They're
get
laid off
training
for
on
lack
it?
of
Did
work.
she kind of somebody go through the form with her and,
Yeah.
not
I mean, I'm assuming
Afterwards.
finance it, but this wasn't the first time that she's discharged somebody. She's
Right.
discharged people over the last 3
Yeah.
years numerous times. And along with each of our directors, everybody. And she didn't ask for training on it. We brought up a discrepancy, and then she said we didn't have training. She never asked for help.
But do you think it's clear now, like how to do this? Or is it-
Well, this is something we can, I can ask her, but to me, they're pretty clear.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Now we'll move on to book signing policy. I will entertain a motion to open up the new book signing policy for discussion.
So moved.
So moved by Mike,
Second.
second by Pam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? One of the things that I noticed that when we were creating the book signing policy, we put harmful to minors policy, which we don't really have. We have a protecting children from harmful sexually explicit material in the library policy. And so I just simply went in and replaced where it says harmful to minors policy, just simply the protecting children from harmful sexually explicit material in the library policy. And then you all received the notes from the attorney. You should have received that email. And so just wanted to open up that for discussion.
Can I come with a suggestion, just to kind of like overview? So when you make, like,
Oh, motion?
sorry,
I'm sorry. A motion for what?
To discuss.
We already did.
We already did that.
We already did that.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
just kind of like just like a comment, because it's so amazing that you're going through all these policies, but is there a way for the committee, when they work on it, that they kind of show the changes, just like if you're taking away language that the draft is showing, kind of
Red
strike
lines.
through.
Strike through.
Sure.
And then add a line,
We can do
it's
that.
just difficult to see,
The changes.
Sure.
because I don't
Over
have
time.
necessarily
The one before?
Yeah.
So moving forward, we'll have a problem with doing that.
Okay, I appreciate it, thank you.
And then we can show what was changed and then what we came up with.
Yeah,
Is that what you're asking
that's
for?
what I'm
Is that it? Anybody else, is that something that you guys
That-
would
that'd
like
be
to have?
very-
It'd be great, it'd be helpful,
Okay.
because that's what I was wondering, are we looking at the revised or are we looking at the original, so, yeah.
Well, everybody does have the originals.
Correct.
Just so you
Yeah.
understand. Okay. But I understand just to look at one thing, totally got it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple of questions about this one. One's procedural.
Which one are you looking at? Are you looking
I'm
at the
looking at the
attorneys?
one the
or-
attorney said.
Okay, got it.
The written objection by majority of the present board members, is this referring to an email or a written vote or can we vote by email or by, you're shaking your head, so this
No.
has to happen in an official meeting?
It's the old public involvement aspect. It needs to be an open meeting where it's deliberated.
Sure.
So
okay.
you would do it at a meeting such as this.
Okay, so if a book signing came up
I'm sorry, I meant to ask.
in February, the opportunity for one came up in February, but it was gonna happen before the next meeting, it would not happen.
Or we'd have a special.
Or a special call.
Yeah, to call a special meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, what if it's a program for adults? Where there might be an instance of something that doesn't violate, but that is mentioned in this policy. For lack of an example, a romance novel. And it's in the book, they may not talk about it at the thing, but it is in the book and it violates the policy. What happens then?
Then
They
it
can't-
would not be able to happen because again, it's in a place for children to have access to unless we're gonna have an adults only spot in the library.
Okay.
Could it be adult only,
After hours.
well, after hours disco library?
After party.
But the event is, an after hours,
Right.
library closes at 5, and this
Well,
event,
this is my question.
yeah, 5:30.
As it is
At
right
that point, it's not
now,
public.
as it is right now, through the facilities agreement, you cannot use the library
Libraries
after
after
hours.
hours, okay, yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Again, this is a public library.
Sure.
And if it's going to be a public book signing and therefore children have access to that book to come up and get it, or they're gonna see, oh, there's a book signing, so, the child's gonna wanna go and find the book.
Or overhear potential
Mm-hmm.
discussion, that's inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the question, there's no context is the issue. What if we're talking about a single sentence, not something extraordinarily graphic like we heard earlier, but a single sentence that effectively is, affected by this policy that throws out the other 499 pages of the book.
I think we have to have a zero tolerance policy.
I agree.
Okay, but I understand the thing. I think you can't ignore context because, the book of Genesis is violated by this policy.
It is not, the book of Genesis is not violated by this policy because there's absolutely nothing in the book of Genesis that describes anything that is a violation of our protection and development policy.
Genesis 38:9.
Can you read it for me?
Genesis 38:9. I don't have what I do with my phone, but it violates number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Genesis 38, what?
9.
Now, let's see what it says.
No, I'm not saying that. I don't
No,
think.
it doesn't. It
You
talks
just
about
said to
Lot.
own it.
Is that what it is?
No, it's
Sleep with your
owning.
brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her as your brother-in-law and raise up an offspring for
Yeah.
your brother. But
Doesn't-
Onan knew that the child would not be his, so whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground to keep from providing offspring for his brother.
Yep. Did it say ejaculation or orgasm and spilling of the seed?
So you spill his semen on the ground to keep
But in-
from providing
Inference
offspring.
at that point.
But
Yes,
this,
inference.
this is what
But,
I'm
but
saying
also,
is
but hold on a
context-
second, you also have to look at this too,
We'll see you tomorrow.
is that actually which, Bible,
The translation.
translation is that? But-
King James, New King James.
This is the NIV.
Okay, what were you guys gonna say?
I'll say, whether it's King James or New King James, technically, the way this is written, somebody could argue that that would be a challenge to it. So the thing I worry about is that there might be an instance that has something in it, in the book, that is minor, but might be pivotal to the story that is for grown-ups. But that this would prevent grown-ups from having a discussion about it in the library, about the book, not about the sentence or whatever it is. So that's my only concern, is that the all or nothing is literally all. It takes all of it. That's the only thing I worry about. And I feel it's important to think about that at least.
Okay. So moving on, so with the book signing policy,
Can I ask about the word affidavit in it and how that process would be if somebody wanted to, is this for anyone that's using the facility would sign an affidavit, even if it's for like a
If
meeting?
anyone
or-
wants to sell books.
correct. So will allow others to hold book signings in their facilities, subject to the conditions set forth herein.
Would the attorney's office, would there be like a standard form? What would that?
It would just be a
process
standard form
that they
that
would
we would
sign.
create, yeah.
Yeah, y'all are a self-running entity, so this is y'all's procedure, y'all's policy. So however you feel is necessary to operate within the parameters that you're trying to, we would have very little involvement, other than what was asked of us.
So then we need to take out if there's a written objection by the majority of the present board members relating solely to non-compliance with then the book signing will not be able to take place. So the book signing event shall be communicated with email to the board before it is approved by the library director.
And another question, if that's taken out, so the book would have to come through the board. So presumably, if there is a sentence or something that is questionable, we could talk about that as a board and make an exception to the rule?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
yeah.
or make a determination as to whether or not
Sure.
a passage violates.
The only concern I have is just the timing, because sometimes these things pop up. And
Sure.
if there's 6 weeks,
Yep.
that could be an issue. But we could do a special call meeting, that's also could be an issue.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as, that provides for some contextual review. That's my only concern, is that I don't like blanket policies. I just,
I think it's a good call out.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so the book signing event shall be communicated via email to the board before it is approved by the library director. Before it's distributed to the public, there's
Would it just be if there's an objection by a majority and taking the written out? Because written would not be something that we wouldn't be putting something in writing, we would be voting on that here, and if there is an objection.
Just if there is an objection.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so an objection and just striking written,
Sure.
would that take care of that?
So what we're gonna have to add in here is that it's approved, that book signings are approved by the board then. Because what we were trying to accomplish here was that we didn't have to have a board meeting for it. So what we could even do is send this back to the Policies and Bylaws Committee to reassess. Because I'm thinking that we have to look at a few different things.
Look at the process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Move to send it back to policies and bylaws
I
for
second.
reconsideration.
I second.
By Erica. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Great. All right. Responsibilities of the library board. I entertain a motion to open up this policy for discussion. So moved by Kaylee, second by Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. Anybody have any thoughts or anything on this?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Article 3, right before we get to A terms, where it talks about the composition of the board members. There used to be, and forgive me because I've been sort of out of the loop for the last 6 months, but I know there used to be a provision that required a trustee from each of the communities, and some had 2, and that's been done away with entirely. And I don't think it was a hard and fast rule, it was more of a guideline, like a suggestion.
It's in the bylaws. It's just, this is just simply saying that they have to be a resident of it. In the bylaws, it says that we, preferably someone to represent, not necessarily from.
Mm-hmm. But
It
they're
just
from,
says-
okay, but they,
There's not, it's not a from.
okay.
It's-
But this isn't part of the bylaws?
No, this is just a,
Just
there was a
responsibilities
whole
of it.
different, policy that
Mhm.
says responsibilities of the library board.
Yeah.
And we're just going along the
List.
the list
Okay.
of policies that are in play right now.
Gotcha, okay.
And we're just going through and revising them and adding them up.
Okay, well then that's probably a topic for a different time.
Yeah.
Okay. The other question I have
Mhm.
is about number 9,
Number,
under duties of the board.
mm-hmm,
The fundraising activity by an individual, group, or organization. It's the part that says proposed to be done in the name of or for the benefit of the public library.
mm-hmm.
I don't know that we can, that's a question for, sir, I'm so sorry, Mr. Law Director, I've forgotten your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Eric Sittler.
Sittler, thank you. That's a question for you. Can we prevent people from raising money in the name of the libraries?
Independently,
Yeah.
Like the Friends.
Like a
group,
Friends
yes.
group.
you have no authority over any other organization, so I would say no.
Okay. So I
Unless
think we need
there's
to
some
reword that.
fact-specific thing we're
Yeah.
dealing
I
with.
think we could,
The intent of that was that on library,
on the
on the
thing.
premises of the.
I think we could approve fundraising activity in the building. The thing I worry about is like, Friends groups send out newsletters all the time. Newsletters have appeals with them. That's a fundraising activity. And if we have to approve every newsletter, that's gonna get tricky really fast. But yeah, in the building would be a different story altogether. But I think we need to reword that. Wording on that. So,
It's number 9.
Number 9.
'cause we could always refuse to accept the money, but I don't think we can
Oh, it's
stop
not-
them from
it's not-
raising it.
As far as your comment about the newsletters and stuff, I believe if I were to approve any fundraising activity, it has to be a direct solicitation
There's
for
always a
funds.
direct appeal or solicitation in every newsletter, just about.
Well, if you want to, you can talk to them about how they temper that, if you wish to donate, or here's a place to donate.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about more active solicitation would be like, what do we see every Christmas? The Salvation Army, for
Mhm.
example.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Mhm.
direct solicitation.
But that's happening in the library policy, and that would be fine. I think we should.
Well, I'm just talking about the newsletters. As far as having
Yeah, yeah.
people there, that's a
Okay.
different story.
But it's, the way it's worded, like, that is a fundraising activity when those appeals go out, so that could be, I'm saying it could be problematic, so. But if you change this to
On the premises.
on the premises,
Yes.
yeah.
That would clear that up a lot.
Yes, approve any fundraising activity on the premises.
Who
by
places the
individual.
newsletters within the library? Do they do it or do
I
the
think the
staff?
friends groups do it usually.
They don't just drop them off and the library staff put them wherever?
I don't know, sometimes it's probably a mix of both.
To me,
They
it
do it more.
to me, it makes it two different scenarios
Yeah.
because you as a library can distribute whatever you like.
Sure.
Yeah.
If they're
That
coming
makes
in and
sense.
placing stuff, that could be viewed as a different method
Okay.
of solicitation.
Mhm.
So, again, I'm
But
just,
the donations don't go directly to the library, they go to the friends groups.
Yeah.
So,
my only, here's what I'm saying is, I can put up blinders and say, hey, we get these newsletters we like our people to read, we're putting them out
Gotcha.
as a library.
okay,
Whatever they read and get out of it and decide to send their money to is up to the
That's up to them.
individual reader.
Yeah.
okay.
And the intention of this was that any fundraisers that were held on the premises
Mhm.
for the library
Mhm.
would have to be approved
Okay.
by the library board. That's the intention. So we could put, approve any fundraising activity by an individual, group, or organization on the premises to be done in the name of or for the benefit of the public library.
I would say proposed to be done on the premises in the name of, is where I would put that. Proposed to be done on the premises in the name of.
Or.
Okay, proposed to be done.
I try not to meddle,
Go
but,
ahead.
On the property.
but you just don't want solicitation by third parties, period, right?
Well, yeah, you kinda have to have it.
Right, so
Yeah.
why are we getting into the nuts and bolts of the solicitations for
Yeah.
the libraries? You don't want solicitations, period. It could be a mattress company soliciting it, or.
But it's for
The focus is
fundraising.
fundraising, not solicitation.
Yeah, friends group
Yes.
fundraising.
But you're using the term solicitation.
No.
No.
No, there's no
Fundraising.
solicitation.
Fundraising.
Oh, there's not, we're just using
No,
that
Yeah,
word?
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just
Okay.
saying it as, yeah, but it's not in the,
I
in
didn't
the
say
responsibilities.
No, then that's fine, yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I just had that in my head, y'all kept saying that.
Because
Okay,
newsletters are
approve any
solicitation.
fundraising activity by an individual, group, or organization proposed to be done on the premises in the name of or for the benefit of the public library.
As long as there's not a comma between on the premises.
To be
comma.
done.
Cannot be a comma there.
Right.
It has to
Okay.
be on the premises of the public, I think it should just be on the premises of the public library, because that not only covers
Or we could say
groups,
on
but that
library
covers,
property,
yeah,
either way.
that
But, yeah.
covers somebody that, looked like if there was a rogue Salvation Army guy with a bell that came out to the library, that covers that too.
Yeah. So it could say even library property, library
Yeah,
property.
I think
To,
any
to narrow
fundraising-
down those words,
yeah,
just to simplify
to
the
be
word.
done on
word.
library property, period.
Okay, repeat that.
Just approve any fundraising activity by an individual, group, or organization proposed to be done on library property.
All in one sentence.
Yes.
On library property.
In the name of or for the benefit of the public.
I wouldn't put that.
Oh, you
in
wouldn't
there
even
at
say
all.
that?
Just
Wouldn't
stop it
say
right
that.
there.
Period.
There.
Make it
Okay.
simple.
Right, just
Because
keep
then
it
it
right
doesn't
there.
matter who's
What their
doing what.
intent is.
Right,
I'm cool with that.
which is nobody can raise or do fundraising without,
Yep.
approval.
On library property.
On the library.
Right.
That makes it
Okay.
crystal clear for all
Okay.
involved.
Any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
Which one are we, should we on?
Amended responsibility.
Board policies.
We're just gonna, like, not address C where we don't get any compensation or favors. Just gonna let
Skip
that
over
slide.
that part.
There's no
tips,
Nothing,
nothing.
we're gonna get a fourth job.
Nothing.
Fair enough, fair enough.
That's gonna continue on as it's been.
Okay.
Right, we. Of course.
That's all I got.
Okay. So it was just on number 9, correct?
Mhm.
Or did I miss something? Okay, all right, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the policy as amended.
So moved.
So moved by Mike. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Paul? Or Pam?
Either
She
one.
can have it. yeah.
Okay, Pam. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody
I'll get mine in one
opposed?
too.
And any
I
abstentions?
was waiting.
Okay. All right, on to the circulation policy. I will entertain a motion to open discussion for circulation policy.
So moved.
Second.
Pam gets it.
Pam, okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, circulation policy.
Y'all have been busy.
Yes.
We're trying to get a lot of this done.
Yes. A lot of these haven't been revised or looked at since 20, some of them 2016.
I saw
Yeah.
2016.
A lot
Yes.
of
I
it's
think
been
I
a long
remember
time.
Amy Ella working
Oh, yeah,
together with
that's
Milani.
right.
and
Who?
Amy
A long
was
time
the
ago.
secretary on the board,
Yeah.
I guess in 2016.
Yeah.
And she
She's
worked, I
on
think,
it.
with April and Milani,
Oh.
and maybe some of these other guys, I can't
Wow.
remember, but it's. she
That's
really did.
right.
I do have a question. Are there, so the policy committee, are the library directors part of this kind of reviewing policy, since they're kind of like the experts?
It's open for them to come, and we
Yeah.
usually have had someone present, and it's
Yeah.
been very helpful, because we could
Yeah.
suspend and ask,
Yeah.
and they've been very helpful.
Yeah, I just think that's a
Mhm.
kind of a good, especially for policy,
Yeah.
because they are just,
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, they
doing
gotta
it
live
every
with
they
it.
know all of it.
Don't,
Yeah.
don't cut their hair if they're not doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the main purpose of what we're doing right now is just cleaning up. We have multiple documents that are out there. We're just trying to get it all together, very similar wordage, just cleaning it up.
Congruent,
And
just making it all congruent.
sometimes even what
And
is
consistent.
current policy is being acted out differently, so we're just trying to find
Yeah.
out what those, where to clean that up.
Yeah.
We found that even the policies that we had that we thought were current were different in a binder at the library.
of course, I'm sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
It's hard to, with public libraries, but.
yes.
Yeah.
But so we're just trying to streamline, simplify.
Were there,
Clear
I
up.
didn't see the previous version of this, but were there major changes to this? That you all did, was it like a particular thing that like this took a long time?
Not major.
Not any major.
I think this one is pretty easy. Or, not change at all.
And we can't talk to directors, can
We
we?
can.
We
suspend
can
it.
suspend the rules.
Can we suspend for a second?
You can make that motion.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend Robert's rules to talk to the directors.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Hi.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
Hi, y'all. How y'all feel about this? Okay. That's all I need.
All right, bring us back into session. Okay. All right, so entertain a motion to accept the new circulation policy.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody opposed? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, moving on to library guest conduct policy. Entertain a motion to open for discussion.
So moved.
So moved by Mike,
Second.
second by Kaylee. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions?
Something I did notice when I was reading all of these, that it's just a small thing, but it's maybe important to clean it up, is that the name of the name for y'all is changed in a lot of them. So it's like Sumner County Library, Sumner County Tennessee Libraries,
This
Sumner
one says
County
system.
Library System. So
Which
you
one
may
says
wanna-
system?
We have one more. Oh, big.
Circulation.
Oh, we're trying to get all
We're
of those
trying to
out
get
there.
system out.
Yeah.
So close.
We're cleaning that up, we're trying.
So on the
Yeah.
circulation policy, which I know y'all moved on from, but it's on there a couple times.
Okay.
Yes.
So just FYI, but maybe, I don't know what,
Oh, I just saw library.
and
system.
also it's, sometimes it's just Sumner County Library.
Mhm.
So you may want, I'm not sure what y'all wanna be
Just keep to,
called.
yes.
Sumner County Libraries.
Make it all the same.
When you get them all into like one solid document, you could do a find and
And replace.
Yeah.
maybe a find and replace, because you
Yeah.
could go through.
You do that.
Just a-
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how we're getting so
Once-
many of these done so quickly is because different people are doing different.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're not
Makes
focusing
sense.
on that yet.
Mhm.
So
That makes
once
sense.
we
Just like
put it in
getting
the
the verbiage
document, we'll
down
get,
and then-
we'll clear that.
And I say that
Yeah.
with the knowledge that I haven't been a part of this Herculean task y'all have been involved in, so.
Also same.
Due respect.
It's not, yeah, it's just, I just
Yeah.
noticed when I was reading.
And once we actually get them all merged, it'll all be formatted the same and everything.
Yeah.
So you see they're all differently. We're just
I know.
getting it
Getting
done.
written right
It's
now.
interesting how you call, and I think I like it, but if you call, what we call patrons, you call them guests.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
then there's
right.
sometimes the customers, so it's like that, that's the
Yes.
other thing, but it's, guest is
Guest
a
is
positive.
nice.
I like it.
They are a guest.
Yeah.
They're welcome
All
guests.
right. So, any problems with this other than taking out library system?
The only other thing I saw was under,
On which one?
On the library guest conduct.
library
It's
guest
right there.
conduct.
So whatever you guys have, I struck system out of there. Like,
It's not on here, sorry, it's on, the system one is on circulation.
So it is,
Circulation, yeah, so not on
but
content.
there
on
is
library
system,
This is on conduct.
there is system
Oh,
on
I'm
conduct.
sorry,
Yeah.
yes, it is, sorry.
Oh,
One snuck through.
One snuck
man, got by the goalie.
We keep
You're right.
trying.
I got the one-
doesn't it?
I got the one at top, I did. Yeah, first thing I saw.
That's a sign.
All right.
Son of what?
So
Dare you.
So
then-
do I have anything from the board members?
Sorry, you're right.
Anything?
I have a question, and this is probably a legal issue too. Do we have anything that prohibits unauthorized recording, like video recording or audio recording? And can we do that
That's a
legally?
good question.
Because there's a lot, I mean, it's just the sign of the times, people come in with the phone and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yes.
and, that can be really, that might be covered under disruptive behavior.
I think we
Um,
have a
is it
video
under-
recording policy somewhere. Give
Is
me
it
a
under
second while I take a look at
confidentiality?
our
But that is a good
big
question.
Oh, that's
plethora
under
of.
confidentiality.
Yeah, I think
You could check. but I don't
in this,
think
this is
that's-
one, Paul, that I
Can't wait to get.
Oh,
went through.
may I suspend the rules?
Yeah.
I wrote, I think.
May I
To
entertain a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Moved by Jim,
Second.
second by Mike. Just sorry, by Paul. I kept saying Mike all night. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Do we have a policy already in place before I whip open the other policies?
About recording.
About recording in the
People
library?
recording.
Okay. I thought I saw one,
And Paul.
but I just didn't know if you guys
First bullet
could
point there.
think off the top of your head.
Intentionally written broadly,
Okay.
so that if anybody's.
All right.
wondering-
Because we
I will-
would like that in written
Disturbing
form
public
if
peace
it's
and
not,
order.
just so that if there's an issue with that, you have a place to go to.
That's the only thing I was.
Okay.
All right.
I didn't know. if we-
All right, I'll bring us
so-
back into session.
I'm sorry.
So let me take a look here really quickly.
Kind of the catch-all. It's a lot of
Uh,
the discretion.
There is a photography and filming in the drafts, so I'm assuming there's probably one in this one. So we could put in there, in the library guest contact at the bottom, nothing that violates the filming and photography policy. Would you like to put something like that? Or,
I think it needs to say audio recording too, like you can't just leave your phone and record a conversation or anything, can you, in the library?
But if it's a public place, I wonder
Yeah.
if there's something about
I
that.
don't think we can, we'll
Or
never be able to prevent it. It may
prohibit
just be
it.
covered fine
I could
under
be wrong.
disruptive behavior. Because again,
yeah.
we also don't want to get, if people are like doing, maybe it's fine. I was just wondering about it.
well, so one of the things that I know that did come up at one of the libraries was someone coming in and filming, basically doing like a movie on their phone at the library. And it was disruptive, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And also then that was put out on YouTube. So I guess, can I ask Mr. Sittler?
It's one of
We
the-
so
We just did a training.
we just
on
did a
it.
training. It's okay. Neil's looking at me. So
Yeah.
Anita and Gabby and Amy asked us to train their folks on, and Lauren, on First Amendment audits, which I'm sure Mr. Sittler might be familiar with. But it's just people coming into a public place. If you're not familiar with it, people coming into a public place with their phone and trying to get a rise out of someone, and then capturing it and then putting it online and trying to go viral and be like, they infringed on my First Amendment rights. So what we looked into it. We're not attorneys. I cannot stress that enough. But the general, I think, consensus Cecilia and I came to is that if somebody wants to come in and film, well, number one, you don't always know. You can't always tell.
Mhm.
But, and I don't think that's, I don't know. But what we did come to is that if it becomes disruptive, you certainly can be like, you gotta go.
Yeah.
You can't stay in here. Like you were saying, Jim, if it's under that kind of,
Yeah.
if it disrupts the peace of the library, you can't stay there. But I think if someone's just filming, I don't know that that's
You can really do it.
illegal,
It's
or you
gotcha.
can do anything
Because
about
we're
it.
trying to make sure that the staff is prepared for that to happen.
Correct.
And how do you like calmly just kind of.
Right.
like,
De-escalate.
You all have already done the training, is it? Okay, and so then I think my concerns are covered under
still need that.
the disruptive behavior thing, and we can leave it alone.
Yeah, it's illegal. I mean, if you
Yeah.
cannot call it, that would be legal to
Okay.
make this.
But I'm wondering, Mr. Sittler, do you have an opinion about someone coming in and just filming in the library?
If I was an attorney, I'd say stay away from the constitutional issues and try to handle it as some other issue, which would be the disruptive behavior. But I'd be curious to know if you've got this policy, is there any posted signage about this? Because they're not gonna know.
About the photography
Gabby
policy?
is nodding her head
Yeah.
yes.
To my knowledge, when I walk into Hendersonville, there's
Yeah.
no filming and no,
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Well, the conduct policy is posted,
Yeah.
it's posted outside the restrooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's not before you get into the building itself?
I can't speak, Council, I don't know.
So I guess it would be a matter of where you were to post something if you want to take it a step further and say there will be no filming or photography or recording. The problem you're also going to run into is people that want to snap pictures of pages of books they're looking at. So you're really walking an ACLU.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself, because there's been times I've. done
They'd
that.
love to dive in on
Right.
something like that, so I
Well,
would
and
try
I-
to stay away.
I agree with you. I'm absolutely not trying to infringe anybody's First Amendment rights. I was just concerned about the disruptive aspect, but I think that's covered in that.
But that's the beauty of the going to disruptive is it's
Yeah.
not a constitutional issue anymore.
No.
That's right.
We're
It's
going
behavior.
under something else.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can
Okay.
we add to the minutes, Paul hates the Constitution?
I do, yes, make sure that's in.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not me, it's Susie, okay?
Big red letters.
That's right. Tell-
Thanks.
It's that
Coy.
And then I do have a quick question. Was this training offered to Alicia as well?
Y'all, okay, they're shaking their head.
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
I
by
guess-
you guys, by you two,
Well,
was
they
it,
were,
was it
we were-
offered?
Not by us, but we were asked by them, so we just went for them. But I didn't make a distinction if Hendersonville was gonna. I think I assumed they were, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but you have this training?
We do.
And if Alicia is she made aware that this training is available?
That I don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
Not sure.
Okay.
You'd
It
have to
might be
ask the
good-
director.
Yeah, it might be good for you to let her know that this training is even available, that she might not even know that it's available.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I'm sure that they've discussed that, but, I mean, that's something that some libraries, are interested in for sure.
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
And they usually reach out to us and say, can you do a training for us? So
Right.
it's-
It's kind of like an on-demand
Yeah.
thing,
Okay.
for
so
sure.
she's-
All right. Okay, so, all right, so now that Paul has taken us down a rabbit hole.
That was a fun one. That was fun.
I'm really sorry.
That was great.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to accept the library guest conduct policy as amended.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Jim, second by Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Great. All right, confidentiality and privacy policy. Entertain a motion to open this for discussion.
So moved.
So moved by Kaylee.
Sure.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. And that's, I cannot wait to go to an eye doctor and actually get glasses. Like, these are giving me a headache.
did wonder about,
Sure.
our last discussion is on the privacy and confidentiality. I didn't cover taking a picture of somebody in the library. That could come under privacy, so I didn't cover that in
Not a
this.
public place.
No,
But it's
not a public place.
Yeah. I think this is
There's no
good.
reasonable expectation of privacy.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to accept the Sumner County, Tennessee Libraries. I see it, Sumner County, Tennessee Libraries. Okay. All right,
Second.
Jim? The second by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Did you see some typo or
It's-
something?
No,
Okay.
no, that's fine. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Say
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right, moving on to employee dress code. I will entertain a motion to open this for discussion.
So moved.
So moved by Mike. Second? Second by Paul. Woo, got it.
on
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
Move to suspend Robert's rules.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
What do y'all think about the dress code? Does this cover everything? Anything that's gonna become?
Do anything less covered. That's good.
No.
Okay.
The only thing that I would ask is about the tennis shoes, I guess. I mean, you're dealing with library clerks who are on their feet 9 hours.
That's what I said.
I know it says something in about orthopedic, so.
That got changed.
No, they
Yeah,
got changed.
that got changed.
That all got
Changed.
changed.
Did you get the new one?
I printed whatever you sent in the.
So this,
Yeah.
it's not,
Jim wanted to wear Jordans, should I ever find myself working at a library, so it just
Yeah, the
says,
one- this one doesn't say
shoes
anything
must be
about
clean and in good
In
repair.
good repair.
there was one
You wore
from
Jordan.
previously, but
Trust your
this should,
Because I come from it.
so this actually is more open than it used to be, just so
I think
you
so.
know.
Yeah.
Since it's not highlighted, just to let you guys know. The emphasis, it is the same of business casual, but business casual is, there's different degrees of business casual, and we actually are allowing jeans as long as they are dark, well-tailored, slim or straight leg. So it's just not having them looking, rough.
Right.
It does not, it no longer says no tennis shoes because that was in the policy before.
It just says business
And
appropriate
so
shoes.
it allows
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
clean, as long as,
Discretion.
Good repair.
so not, it just it lets, no open toes, no, shoes without back straps. So I mean, it's actually more lenient. This is actually
Yeah.
more
Mhm.
lenient.
Than it
It said
was.
no tattoos or facial, or body piercings at all
Mhm.
accepted, and this now says it
In
gives
good
some
taste
leniency.
and-
So, yeah.
Visible.
Yeah.
So this is actually a freer option, trying to make it a little freer.
And then just bringing to the director's attention the name tag or lanyard
Yes.
identifying people as a library employee. I don't know if that's common practice now in all the libraries, but for anybody watching at home.
I guess I was
Yeah.
just looking at the very last paragraph where it says at the discretion of the library, more casual wear and athletic shoes may be worn.
Sorry, and I did not take that out, so, because that was something that we had changed the wordage of in the meeting, so more casual wear may be worn,
So just
and
take
we
out
could,
that word.
Well,
yes, we can take it.
I'm not sure.
'Cause
I hear
we
what you're
allow
saying,
athletic
but
shoes.
But that first sentence is conditional then on when the manual labor is, hey, if a box truck of books arrives, you can make the, you can have your Peter tennis shoes and your shorts and whatever it is you
Exactly.
need.
Okay.
So I don't think it countermands the above.
But
Shoes
I
must be
will
clean
say,
and good repair.
I do agree, I had forgotten that was worded in here.
Okay.
We do allow athletic shoes now, so
Yeah.
if we said more casual wear,
Okay.
maybe worn when manual, that would allow them to wear the more casual shoes as
Just-
needed, but athletic shoes are allowed as
Just
long as
strike
clean.
athletic shoes in.
So I think we should take in athletic shoes
Can,
out.
can I make a motion here? Can I say something here though? I didn't take it as that.
Mhm.
I took it as more casual athletic shoes.
Mhm.
That's
So-
what I took it as you were saying. Like I don't want to wear my good tennis shoes to do manual labor.
Right.
So my more casual athletic shoes I'm going to use to do. That's what I took that as.
Okay, so if we were to leave it in here, how you're saying is it just the casual wear and casual athletic shoes, correct? Is that
Sure.
We are outside a lot during the summer, and in the past, I have let staff wear shorts that are past their fingertips, and our volunteers do too. Can we continue to make an allowance for that?
I would think no, because it still has to represent the library. I think it's something that we need to, keep, because there are athletic shorts that are pretty long. That's
what they're wearing, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's okay?
So here's what I would say, here's my thoughts on that.
Or at the discretion.
It is to your discretion
It is.
to allow more casual wear
Mhm.
for
It is.
manual labor or for program demands. But a professional appearance should still be
Yeah.
considered on these special occasions. So if that includes shorts, I would say it still needs to look professional.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that allows that still in there.
Yeah, and it does. Shorts. Yeah.
Can't be
So-
shorter than skirts, so.
Yes, exactly. Hmm? Okay, it brings back into session. Okay. All right. So we will.
So we didn't make any changes.
We didn't make any changes. So
Changes.
motion to accept employees' dress code.
So moved.
So moved.
By Mike.
Everybody's
Do I have a
on that.
second?
Get it, Mike?
Do I have a second?
Second.
By Erica. Ooh, Erica got it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Library director interview policy. I will open this up for discussion. An entertain a motion
So moved.
by Jim.
Okay. Second.
And second by Mike. Lord, my brain just went. Doop. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. All right. You want to take a look at this? Results.
I printed everything I thought.
Okay, that's great.
Can I see? Yeah, 'cause I don't think-
This is the one that Jim sent on Monday night to everybody. I apologize, Cecilia and Caitlin. I forgot to forward it on to you guys. I apologize. I just thought, there was so many policies going on.
It's a great read. Joanna read from it at
That's
the
the
beginning of the
original.
meeting.
It's a great read.
It's a great read. Okay, I was
That was great.
Okay.
And I'll note, the only guidance provided in the hiring process was in the bylaws, Article 7, Section C. So it's not a lot, I put it out there. If we are looking to amend the bylaw or simply make a policy, I'm fine either way. If under the proposed, we want to make this policy leaving the bylaw as it stands, I'm not procedurally, Madam Chair, I have no preference or whatever works. And then the bold text is the new text.
I would think just make it a policy instead of just adding the whole thing to the bylaws. That's my thoughts. Or, I mean, because the bylaws references it. Does that make sense? But we can do a bylaw.
Does
We
the-
can,
Does the bylaw?
well, it just says the vice chair will serve on the personnel committee, will work closely with directors to see that the personnel committee shall,
With interviews of persons.
that's proposed, sorry, Lord. Will work, where is
This
the,
is a second paragraph.
okay, when needed, the personnel committee shall conduct interviews. And actually, it needs to be, the committee shall decide on persons to recommend. I just noticed that. Committee chair shall present recommendations to the board. So your proposal is to put this at the bylaws?
Well, and only
You tell.
because the current bylaw does give some guidance on how it is to be, the procedure is to be conducted. And if you are wanting to replace that or amend that in any way, I think you need to replace the whole bylaw. So that you don't have two countermanding directives
Okay.
Right.
between the bylaw and the policy.
Makes sense.
So the intent of having I like this acronym BQA.
Thanks.
So you're welcome. So the intent of interviewing them individually is so that it doesn't have to be a public
Right, and subject the applicant
Person to
to an open meeting.
Yeah, open
scrutiny.
meeting.
I called it speed dating. It's not
Yes.
speed dating. It's exactly what it's like.
I don't know.
So did it happen
Just-
all in one day?
Yeah, so imagine if we
Yeah.
had 3 rooms reserved at the Gallatin Library or Hendersonville, and they would come in and, somebody meet with me, they'd go on to Kaylee, next person would come in with me, go on to Kaylee, Kaylee's person
Okay.
go on to Erica, and then so on until everybody's done. They would all go home, come back to the personnel committee meeting where we would then discuss the applicants on the meeting with the OWL, make our decisions, our recommendations, any deliberations, decide on a name to present to the board for hiring.
Okay.
Can I propose something?
It's America.
It's America. Is that we create this as a policy, but then we go into the bylaw and just say,
Update it.
when needed, the personnel committee shall conduct interviews of persons applying for the possible position of library directors as stated in the policy.
That would work.
Sounds good. Yes.
What's the conflict between the bylaws and this?
There's no real conflict. This is actually just
Clarified.
More
Updating.
procedural. It's more,
Procedural.
it's telling the how
Do you want to
to.
see?
Okay, in the domino effect of all of this, the bylaws are always gonna supersede a policy.
Right.
And the
But-
policy doesn't.
But the
have
benefit
conflict.
of a policy is you don't have to go through all the formalities of amending bylaws. You can much easier revise policies, so just
Understood.
keeping that in mind.
So one conflict is midway down in paragraph 2, when hiring a library director, the board shall not be restricted to only the recommendations of the personnel committee. And we clarify that language in the new policy or new bylaw that says any person to be considered for the vacancy will have already applied or shall be from the original pool of applicants and not just anybody from the street.
Then if you've got a conflict and the bylaws are gonna control
Yes, sir.
everything, you need to get the bylaws right before you start adding policies to it.
Or do we make this the bylaw? Or is this too?
The bylaw changes fall under a different category, and I believe it'll take a supermajority, like a 2/3 vote, to get a change to that.
It doesn't.
But I'm just speaking in general.
No. And according to our bylaws, it's a majority. And as long as it has been sent to the board before the meeting, then we can address it.
And that's fine, however, your problem is you can't do that tonight. So this will have to be a agenda item
Just
for
to
amending.
term it as a bylaw. Is that what
Yes,
you're
you
saying?
can't just bring this up
So it-
because there was no notice to the public,
It's
and
new director interview policy.
that's the
So-
policy, we're talking about the bylaws.
Okay.
So we
I
can
do have
put-
one question about the policy.
we can move this to
The-
business.
All of the resumes that come
No,
through.
it has to,
Like the-
it has to
Oh, it
get,
has to
The
get-
this policy
nonprofit
has to
where
get
I work,
done
and
today.
most of them I work, who are, even though I'm a low man on a totem pole,
Yeah.
I see every single resume
Right.
that gets through.
Yeah.
Is there can we go into a Dropbox or something that board members
It's
have
just
access to,
in
so
the
we can all
bylaws,
see them? I
it
realize
just,
the committee's gotta do its
not
work, and that's where the nitty gritty's gonna
Right.
happen. But there might be somebody that comes through that slips by
So you're saying-
one of our radars, and another person, you're like, I know that person.
No,
They'd be
no,
perfect for
no.
this. and
Just saying that
it'll
it
work.
has to be
Yeah, it's
someone
just a
that
good thing
actually.
that everybody has access to all
Yeah,
of
and
it.
that's in here as well, and
I
so.
didn't see that.
Yeah,
It just says that,
upon completion of the BQA interviews.
it just,
uh,
where is it
Oh,
at?
I was talking about before that, where
When they come in.
when they first come in, like if they go to a central
I
place,
understand.
like you're gonna have all that and go through there and make, and the personnel committee will pull and make the recommendations for the interviews, but just so the full board can see all of the resume pool that came in. All the
Yeah.
applicants, all the applicants, yes.
Yes, that provision's there before we
Our board
vote
meeting.
on
How's that different than the bylaws?
I don't feel it really.
all those go to the board prior to the board meeting where we vote on on the applicant to bring those up. I hear your point. I would think that if, and we'll use the Westmoreland
But
example,
you've got an
somebody's
application
applying for that you knew, you would
with this,
I
right?
hope reach out to me or somebody on the personnel
Oh, of
committee to
course,
say,
yeah.
to say I know this
But that's the
person.
thing, as long as we can like
This is
see
the
all the
bylaw.
resumes, like skim through them, I mean, and be, if there's just somebody or some
Where's that
person like that
Not
person would be
restricted
great.
to only
I wanna make sure that the personnel committee sees that resume. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. I would offer, is there undue influence by people not on the personnel committee then in the selection of what's considered BQAs?
I wouldn't think so, because all we could do is just say, hey, I know this person, or I know this person had this experience. Be sure and take a look at them, because that's all the influence I can have as a board member. It's just, there was a couple of times that we've hired people that when I saw, we were looking through the resumes, people were recommended that I didn't give a second glance to, and when I gave them the second glance, I saw why. I'm like, oh yeah, that person, I do need to look at that. And it's just a fail-safe to make sure that some great candidate doesn't fall through the cracks. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I think as written that in, again, the board can do what it pleases, but I think that provision is still there, that at the end of all, and maybe it's a little after the fact that.
That's what I worry about,
Yeah.
is after the fact,
Yeah.
and then you gotta go back and, or, you
Yeah,
know,
if
just, you know.
people felt strongly about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is that to prevent that,
Yeah.
that the full board would be able to see all of the pool. And I'm realize I may be a little bit sensitive about this, but that the full board can see the whole pool. And then, you know, if there's somebody that's like, why wasn't that person interviewed? Or get that person interviewed, or look at this person, this one is good.
Yeah.
But the
That's
full
what I'm worried
board does get all of the,
They do,
He's
but not
saying
before
before.
the interviews.
Yeah.
That's what I'm,
As
that's
it's
what
written.
I'm saying.
They don't get it
Correct.
before the
Right.
interviews, they get the full list.
But
of everybody's
because,
written.
I don't think the
again,
full
we
board-
just need to, because we have to rely upon committees. Okay.
That's the point of the
And
big
that's the
committee.
point of the committee. And if, after the committee, you know, once they receive them and the committee, you know, does this thing, Jim can send them out as soon as he gets the packet, he can send the whole board it if he wants to. You mean, is that correct?
I think that's what Paul's
What's personnel?
suggesting, and I don't object to that. I think that's a good idea.
I'm just
to be able
saying,
to
yeah,
have-
like put all the resumes that are coming through, put them in one spot.
Where
Right,
everyone can see.
So the whole board can see them as a transparency issue to see.
and that's not gonna stop anything.
It's not gonna
That's gonna
interfere.
continue to
That's
go
what I
on
don't want.
into
Yeah.
procedure.
Well, that is part of the plan. I mean, like, that is part of what the proposed policy is. It's about the time, what they're talking about is the timing.
When that happens.
There will be a packet that is
Correct.
of all that have applied, but it will be, once the committee has done their job and has come down to the one name, they will present the packet for the board meeting and then the one name will be on the agenda. That's where the committee gets to do their job without
Right.
having a lot of outside influences. And then that can all be discussed at the board meeting. And but it gives I think, more of a fairness factor, because it's letting the committee very fairly go through the process without having a lot of input all over the place. Because what's the point of a committee if they're not getting to do their job? If it has a lot of influence from outside of the committee, then to me, I'm a fairness person. So like, for me, that doesn't feel as fair. But it still gives the voice to everybody on the board when we're prepping for and coming into a board meeting.
I see what
But
you're
the
saying.
name is already decided on at
That's
that
the thing,
point by the
yeah.
committee.
Just who the committee
Right.
is, who
But
we're
you're sending a whole
presenting.
packet of everybody that applied.
Right,
Correct.
we're just narrowing it down to we're doing interviews and doing
Okay.
down to a one of who we're recommending, but the whole packet will be everybody that has put their application in.
Correct.
So for the board meeting, we will have done our process, and then for the preparation and coming into board meeting, there will be a packet with all applicants, and then we will
It's a delegation of powers and work. Exactly, which is how committees and how boards
what it's
work,
meant.
is we delegated it to the committee, and then once they've come up, then everyone will get all of the information of all, and therefore, at a board meeting,
Yeah.
if, as it says in here, if they're like, hey, well, what about this person? That it can be brought up at the board meeting.
So at that point, there's provision for somebody to say, hey, did y'all consider this particular person?
Yeah, I think you've got it there for full deliberation
Yep.
for everybody.
Exactly.
And plus, the beautiful thing is that packet becomes public record and there's no, hey, you didn't consider me, because their stuff's gonna be in the minutes, and you can do a public request to see what was on it, and it's out there.
But that will be after the interviews have been made.
That's after everything's happened, though.
No, that's after it's gone through the committee. The board still has the
Right.
ability
That's
to
right.
say,
To
no,
change
we
it.
don't take your recommendation, we want this person, you deliberate, and then you have a vote on who you want it to be.
Paul, for what it's worth, I started where you are when I drafted it, and then Joanna, brings to mind, it's the way the committees operate at the county.
Well, I understand
yeah.
that, but I've been burned by those committees in the county.
I've seen other people burned by those as
Yeah,
well.
because
I hear
there
it.
were a lot of people that didn't see my resume.
Yeah,
And I may be a bleeding idiot, but on paper, I'm hyper qualified.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's the question I have is, I think when you have a committee of 5, a board of 9, to allow 4 other people just to see the resumes that are coming through, you're utilizing those 4 people that may see something in those and be like, wow, that person's great, or that job, I see what they did there, and that would really transfer well to here. And all you do is send an email to the whole board, like, this might be worthy of consideration, and that's all you can do, because I'm not on the committee, but I can say, hey, this person, take a second look at that. That's all, and
Okay.
if we have 50 resumes, that might happen once. So I don't think it's gonna hamper the committee's process, it just might avail more eyeballs to look at it. That's all I'm suggesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So like if they were just all in one
Okay.
place where everybody had access.
Yeah, again, because we're getting to the time limit of us, is that we have to delegate, and whether someone's been burned, no system is perfect. Okay, someone's gonna get burned no matter what. And I think that it's full transparency. If someone at the board goes, hey, you know what, I think this person should have been considered, that it can be talked about at the board. It's full transparency, but again, facilities, all the committees that we have, either we're gonna delegate and give those committees authority, or we're gonna be having 5-hour, library board meetings. And so, but,
If it brings any solace, I think what's better about our process is, hey, before there's a vote, everybody on this board gets the packet and the names of everybody who applied, and I don't think that happens in other places.
right, correct. I think so, exactly.
Just some songs.
Some songs.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I take the other way.
Maybe good enough.
So my proposal is that this actually becomes a policy, and in talking with Mr. Sittler here, so do you feel that this policy is in direct conflict of the bylaws?
Not necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so I think this would be a great policy, and then if anyone feels that it's in conflict, I don't think that it is.
Okay.
So I entertain a motion to accept this as a policy.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? Okay, wonderful. All right, so now we're going to move on to, what'd you say?
They're just bantering.
Oh, bantering, okay. All right, facilities report.
You don't need me for anything else?
Yeah, I think we're good. Unless you want to stay.
Unless you have something
You
to
can
say
stay.
about
Aren't you
calendar.
so entertained? You want to stay?
Oh, yeah, on to,
no,
yeah,
I-
facilities report and then the calendar. Okay, no?
I didn't
No?
Let's go get a prostate exam or something.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sittler.
Thank you. Thanks, Sarah.
Appreciate all of you.
And I'm on the 3rd floor, if y'all need anything, just give me a holler.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. All right, so I will entertain a motion to open up for facilities report.
Gotcha.
So moved.
All right.
So moved by Mike, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Paul, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
All right, so Pam and I had a facilities committee meeting this past Monday to discuss the reports we currently have from each facility and to elect a new committee chair. As we were discussing the reports, we realized many of them were out of date or have had many updates since they were last completed. With that being said, we decided it's best to do new walkthroughs at all facilities by the January 31st Budget Committee meeting, so they would have any new potential updates to consider while planning for the budget season. I look forward to reporting back on these new walkthroughs and the exciting things happening in our facilities once they are completed. Lastly, we elected myself, Kaylee Wilson, as the new Facilities Committee Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Wonderful.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much, Kaylee and Pam. Appreciate you guys on the Facilities Committee. All right. So we will move on to the calendar. So I will entertain a motion to open up discussion for the calendar.
So moved.
So moved by Jim, second by Mike. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. According to our bylaws and policies, we are every other month. But we have a really, really, really busy season coming up here. Fun budget. Woo! Okay. And we also have a director that we're in the process of hiring, and January 31st is the cutoff, and so then interviews are going to happen like that. Also, to my knowledge, March 1st will be when we have to submit the worksheets that budget is working on with the directors, and then we have to approve those budgets to be given to the directors to fill out the worksheets. So, I propose a few changes in the calendar year coming up in the beginning. One, I would like to, we normally, so on the off months, we have a study group or study meeting. Study session. But I'm looking to actually have a regular meeting the last Wednesday of February, so that we can get all the interviews in, get all the budget stuff in, and get everything approved. So I was looking at
February 26th, is that is?
February 26th
3:30.
at 3:30. Here, same time, same place. Okay. And then our normal one would be March 12th. However, when we give the worksheets to finance, they have to do all of their fun yes and no and yay, nay, and then they send it back with their yes, we're going to do this, not going to do this. And that could take some time, because then those have to go through budget committee and then have to come through us. So another fun time. So my proposal is to move our regular March meeting to March 26th at 3:30 p.m. so that we can have time for a budget to meet, worksheets to be done, anything and everything.
The 12th also, March 12th also falls during spring break for some schools.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that would probably
So
be
when-
better then.
yeah.
March
Yeah.
26th, my wife's 50th birthday. That's going to be a hard sell.
Yeah, for sure.
Make it
We'll make a
quick.
quick
Small
meeting.
cakes,
Yeah.
yeah. Little cakes, yeah.
Or we'll just make a quick meeting.
Yeah. April,
So what's the day on March then?
be March
26th.
26th.
Okay.
March 26th. Obviously, it's Paul's wife's birthday. Yeah. Okay.
Happy birthday.
Well, we can bring some cupcakes for her.
Oh, we may celebrate another time, I don't know. for
Okay.
sure, but we'll see.
And we should be done hopefully by 5:30, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're in hopes that
Hoping
it
to,
would be a
yeah.
quick one. April would be a study session.
Joanna, I'm so
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but
No
can
problem.
can you clarify what a study session is? I don't understand what that is.
So what we put in was roundtables where we can just talk about things that have come, like that maybe the library directors or we are going, hey, you know what, we've heard this, or, you know,
So these aren't official library
theirs are
meetings?
not official, you
They're
don't
just the
have
board
to,
and
they're
the
just.
directors at a table?
Yep,
chatting.
and if we want to have it, we can. We haven't had many of them because people are like, yeah, we're nothing
Nothing to discuss.
to
It
discuss.
helps kind of keep the spot open
Mhm.
Okay.
for scheduling if we need a special called.
Mhm.
A lot of times we can say, okay, instead of a session, let's
Yeah.
meet.
Okay.
So it just
Yeah.
keeps.
Thank you for the clar- So April 9th would be that. And then May 14th right now is what we have. So my reservation with May 14th is because we don't know when the hearings for budget is going to be. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's kind of like they're either in April or May. And we won't know that until probably the end of March. And so I'm thinking that right now, May 14th, but that might change in March. Because I want to make sure that, because we have to approve the budget to be sent to the county. So after the hearings are talked about and they go yay, nay, da, that, then we have to come and vote on it again, and then it's forwarded to the county. So lots of back and forth. So May 14th right now is a tentative. And then June is June 11th, right? Hold on, let me make sure, because I think that we actually made it that June doesn't have roundtable meetings. Let me make sure on this.
Do you want to look at it?
Yeah. Let me. Abortion meets. January, March. Okay. It doesn't say nothing in June. So I know that was something that we had talked about, but it didn't go through. Okay, so June then would be June 11th.
And that would be a study session. Would
That
that
would
be
be a study
considered?
session, yeah. And then it would be July 9th. And then
So nothing.
These are all at 3:30.
July 9th would be a formal board meeting. August 13th would be a study session.
August what now?
August 13th would be a study session. September 10th would be a regular meeting.
Hold on one second.
No
Can
problem.
you go backwards?
Yeah. hang
Yeah.
on a second.
You're, I'm trying to do this as we're going,
Yeah,
so
no
I'm sorry.
problem.
So July
9th.
9th.
Meeting.
And then,
August 13th study session.
August 13th study session. Pam's got it. About done, Okay, September 10th would be an official meeting. October 15th, study session.
15th, would it not be the 8th?
Oh, yep, October 8th, sorry, didn't see that one up there. And then November 12th would be an official meeting. And we generally don't meet in December, generally.
Unless there's a special call.
This is a special call, yeah. Okay. All right, so, entertain a motion. Oh, really quickly. So, Susie, this is a question for you. I know we have you for 6 times during the year, right? So February, to my knowledge, Kaylee would have to take the notes. Is that correct?
Let's see, regular meeting.
Because February is actually adding another regular meeting to the year.
It's all up to whether you want to pay me or not, that's it.
Okay, okay,
So you just
Alright.
have to let me know.
okay. Gotcha. So we would have to, you get paid from Hendersonville, right, or something like
I
that?
think so. I don't
Okay.
know, really.
Yeah, okay. So,
October 8th.
October 8th. Okay, so then we would have to, all right, so if we want, so Kaylee, do you want to do notes, or as a board, do we want to pay Susie to do notes? And in doing so, we'd have to find the money doing that.
I don't mind doing it if
Right.
that means we don't have to fork out extra money.
Okay, all right. And Susie, we love you, but now we
Oh,
have to,
that's
we have to
fine.
do a line item and move and everything like that, so, okay, all right. All right, so, so again, as it is right now, it would be February 26th, regular meeting, March 26th, regular meeting, April 9th, roundtable, May 14th, regular, tentative, June 11th, round, July 9th, regular, August 13th, round, September 10th, regular, October 8th, round, and November 12th, regular.
And the roundtables up there posted public meetings, right?
Yeah, if we have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the calendar. So moved by Kaylee. Do I have a second?
Come or not.
Second.
Second by Erica. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, and then,
Aye. Mike, you good?
yeah.
Anybody opposed? And any abstentions? No? Okay, wonderful. All right, we're gonna get through this quickly.
I make a motion to have a potty break, please.
Okay, a motion for a potty break. Oh, we're so close.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes, a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we're gonna call the meeting back into order. All right, okay. All right, so now we finished the calendar, now we're on to treasurer's report.
Do it.
All right,
On December the 19th, Joanna, Mike, and I met to discuss the budgets, the timelines, and also to assign each member of the budget committee to a library. I think it's just amazing and a blessing that we have 5 trustees or board members on the committee, and we have 5 libraries. And one of the things that I really wanted to accomplish, I think you guys did this last year, where each one of the board members met with the directors to help them go over the budget and understand their budget, even more importantly, I think is really key. And if we have like one board member assigned to a library to really know that budget, when we come back into budget committee, it's gonna honor our time a little bit more, because we're gonna have a whole lot more knowledge and information. And then when we bring it to the board, we literally will have one board member that is assigned to a library, and then they have that relationship too with the director throughout the year. If something comes up with the budget, or they need some assistance or help or anything, we have one board member that is very in tune with one library budget. So I'm super excited this year about that opportunity. And Joanna agreed to do Gallatin. I agreed to do Hendersonville. Mike agreed to do Westmoreland. And Paul, you for Portland. And then Shannon was assigned to Westmoreland, and she,
Millersville.
yeah. No, I'm sorry, you're Millersville, that's right, you're Millersville, and Shannon was Westmoreland. And she sent me an email just mentioning that she wasn't gonna meet with Lauren and the interim, that she felt like they were capable of doing that, so I'm gonna take on the Westmoreland, especially with them having an interim and her being new in the budget process. I think she's really gonna need somebody that will assist her throughout the year. So that's kind of our report. We set a timeline by January the 31st, which is when the directors should receive their packets from finance, those worksheets. And so So we were hoping that before the 31st, we would meet with them so that when the worksheets come, they're ready to put in the information. And then that would make the February meeting a whole lot smoother with Budget Committee. And hopefully by March the 1st, everything is finalized and the budget process this year won't be as painful and tedious as it was last year. So that's the treasurer's report, and I can report back on our next meeting after we have our January the 26th meeting.
Can
Or
I,
January 31st meeting, I'm sorry.
can I ask a question?
Sure.
It's actually a question of Jim.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm prepared for now.
So,
Oh, yeah, I did need to mention, go ahead.
so Jim, when you met with the libraries last year, because you were on the budget committee, I was on the budget committee.
Yep.
How did they prepare for the budget committee? For the budget meeting?
That's my recollection. We met in the break room here before one of our board meetings. Everybody brought their spreadsheets for the budget. And they're all pretty uniform to include, previous years, budget totals, that current year's operating budget, and then the projected operational needs for the next year. Yeah, pretty straightforward. There shouldn't be any surprises or. Everybody had some really good ideas. There's anticipated carpet, I think, for like Gallatin. That was in the upcoming budget for the next year. I didn't have Hendersonville.
You had Gallatin and Westmoreland.
Gallatin, Westmoreland, and Anita.
No, I was Anita.
You had Anita.
I had Anita and Amy.
Okay, so it was just Gabby and Lauren. There were some projected needs for the upcoming year that were to be included in the budget that we could then lobby for and discuss here, or if you wanted to go to the commissioners meeting and lobby for that in the budget.
Okay, so things were printed out, just as when I spoke with Anita and Amy, they hadn't received the worksheets yet or anything like that,
No.
but they printed out everything, the budget that they proposed for the next year and everything.
Yeah.
Correct, everything was printed out for you to take a look
Yeah,
at.
no, it was real
to-
smooth, real
To ask
clean.
questions.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, informative for me.
so,
I hadn't gone through it before.
Pam?
Well, I'll make sure that that policy or that procedure is followed, because we met with, was it yesterday, just that we went to Gallatin? We met with Gabby, and we're gonna have to go back because we didn't have all that information. There wasn't anything,
Printed.
yeah, so we're gonna go back on the 28th, so. And Mike and I had never been to, with us being new on the board, had not been to one of those, so we wanted to make sure that we knew what we were gonna be walking into, so.
For the other libraries that we're gonna go to.
Yeah, so we just
Do it
need to
the
make
same
sure
way.
that all the library directors, if you want to, make sure, and Anita, you're here, so we can make sure that.
She
yours is
provided all that stuff for me last year.
Okay.
I didn't have to ask, she just provided it for me.
Okay, all right.
Which
And then
is
if you want to just
normal
make sure that
budget
Amy
process.
does, and I'll make
Yeah.
sure that Alicia does, but we'll just be meeting with ours probably before the 28th.
Right,
So,
yeah.
okay.
So you guys had a budget meeting and there was no budget presented?
Well, we didn't have anything printed out or anything like
No.
that.
And
And Gabby said she was going to send it.
I did ask for things to be printed, but I still didn't
Okay.
leave with anything
And
printed.
Gabby said she was going to email everything to Joanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did state that I work better with printed, so. Okay, all right. Moving on to director's reports. Whoa. Okay. And first one is Gallatin.
I put in the packet what jobs we're hiring for, and we've gotten an obscene amount of way overqualified thing. I'm actually doing 18 interviews, which is too much, but it was hard to narrow down the 70+ applications we got.
You got 70 applications.
On Indeed alone, we got
That
over
is
50.
insane.
And for what position?
We have a part-time clerk who has finally decided that she's leaving. She's the one we were saving the position for because her family had.
FMLA.
Yeah, and then she decided, and then one of our other part-timers he graduated high school.
Yeah.
So he's starting college early
Okay.
and abandoning us. And then James Brown, our full-time person, got poached by Ingram, the company that we buy books from.
No.
Making like double the stuff. So
Dang.
he's happy. We're happy for him.
It's all right. All right.
So
What's he gonna be doing at Anger?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? With the new employees that you're bringing in, is there a way to contact them after hours?
I don't typically message or bother anybody. I will send emails if I'm working late, but I don't call people after hours.
So yesterday, when I asked you in the meeting that, because it actually wasn't Cecilia, but it was Caitlin, that said that it would be good for me to have the cell phone numbers of all the directors, and you said that you preferred, let me finish.
Yeah.
You preferred to not give it to me because you paid for it, and the county, if they want to give you a phone, then that's fine. But my question is, how, if the library is on fire, do you get called, or who gets called? If there's an
We get
emergency?
emails from the mayor.
I'm sorry?
We get emails from the mayor if
But,
there's a fire.
but if there's any emergency, how do you get contacted? And, okay.
Yeah, I
And-
take my laptop with me everywhere. I
Okay,
go.
so you haven't given your phone number out to any county officials?
I've quit giving it out once it got shared on a government official's page, because I got an obscene amount of phone calls, and it was very distressing, and I'm not doing that anymore. We have a set schedule. I work beyond that, and I'm accessible by email. I think that's enough. You can call me at the library, and if I'm not in the middle of 20 things, I will try to get to the phone. But I don't believe I need to share my cell phone or take calls on my personal cell phone going forward.
Okay.
Have you ever discussed having like work phones? I know that some of the directors in our region have that, just so they don't mix personal and business. It's kind of like we're always so worried about that. I know you guys are worried about it with emails and stuff too.
Well, I just think that also, I don't get paid for this position, but people have my cell phone number, and for me, any job that I've ever had, if I was in a director position, they had a way to contact me in case of an emergency. If an employee can't come in, I guess it's just email. I mean, I just am trying to figure out, how.
You've been the target of a lot of
Yeah, I've got.
personal attacks. And your cell phone being shared on the official page is way over the line.
Well, I didn't do that though.
No, you didn't do that, no.
Okay.
That is it has resulted in me not sharing.
I can
am
understand
no longer
that, yeah.
taking phone calls on my
Why
personal cell phone.
do,
Okay.
we don't have it in the budget to give directors county, like their phones through the library system, or through the library somewhere?
No.
Do we have a?
I don't, and I think that, no, and that's something, but I just wanted to find out and get that. We can address that later. So, Gabby, you're welcome to finish.
Let's see, we had the open house that was really well attended and overwhelming. We had live carolers and cookies that we are still taking out of the freezer, and we had 4 listening dogs, therapy listening dogs, visiting for the kids to read to.
What's a listening dog?
It is a therapy certified. There's a whole training and background in therapy. They have to have the paperwork through Nashville Pet Partners.
Oh, cool.
And they get really heavily trained, and mainly they just lay on the floor and kids read to them. They do a lot of
That's a great
sleeping.
job. Very
Oh,
cool.
that's a good job.
And they got pictures with Santa Claus, because Art's the best Santa Claus ever. He remembers kids from year to year. He's special, and he makes everybody sing. Speaking of listening dogs, that is temporarily replacing our rock painting for that was kind of available for people of all abilities. And so they're coming in, and a few people that are still coming in looking for the rock painting, we still have something to offer to them as an activity. Because that, like I said, was a really big loss for us. Toys for Tots, staff took it upon themselves, and they, outside of work hours, volunteered at the Shalom Zone for over 15 hours getting ready for Toys for Tots. And so that, I thought it was really cool of them to do, because there were 534 families that Toys for Tots served this year, and they knew that our staff volunteered on their own time to pack toys, and it's just, I thought it showed a lot of
That's
dedication to the
remarkable.
community. And I wanted to brag on them. And I think that's about all I have, unless y'all got questions.
Really cool.
Please tell your staff that that's a really remarkable thing
Yeah,
for
we appreciate
a
it.
group of county employees to do. That was really, really great. Yeah.
They're good people.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabby.
I noted in
Appreciate
the
it. Mhm.
recent books to Gallatin is American Gunfight by Stephen Hunter, and it chronicles the story of Leslie Kofelt, the only Secret Service person to ever give their life defending the president. And,
It finally got
so,
returned to the library.
I mean, I didn't check it out. It's a new book in the collection, but it's
I'm
worth your
just
read.
joking. I'm just joking.
No, I have my own personal copy. It happened back in the Truman administration. It's awesome. Yeah.
Leslie
Truman. Leslie Kofelt. Yeah.
So sorry, guys, we have to
Sorry,
we have
yes,
to finish
fine.
on. Okay, so,
like books.
Hendersonville's not here, Westmoreland is not here, Millersville's not here, and Portland. Anita.
Excuse me. Okay. First of all, I apologize, I'm not gonna talk long because my medication's wearing off, sorry. You do have your packets. The only thing that's not in your, or that wasn't in the packet that I emailed to you is on the second page. It's actually an article that was written about Miss Linda.
Oh, great.
It just came out yesterday, that's why I didn't have it in the packet that you got in here. So, but, yeah, 29 years. She actually is gonna be working just a couple of more days this month, until the end of January, because Lauren's not starting until February 1st. So,
Awesome.
but is there any other questions other than, sorry?
You're good.
Thanks for
Thank you so much.
Sorry, you're not
Thanks,
feeling
Anita.
well.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give an update on the accident.
Oh,
The
okay,
drywall.
hold on one second.
Okay.
Paul, you had a question for
My
me.
question was for Ms. Phyllis here.
Oh, so now it is Phyllis?
Well, it was about, she's gonna be taking over the interim director. Does that come with a pay adjustment for that sort of thing?
As it is right now, no.
How do we fix that?
That will have to be a whole nother discussion
It has to
on
be
another
on the
day.
agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to let y'all
Yes.
know that the old brick is out of place. Of course, the weather, they can't lay the new brick on the outside. But the inside, the drywall is done. I think they may have a little bit more sand in it. So our inside is safe again.
Awesome, thank you. I thank you, appreciate that.
And we are fixing to be in the midst of our art contest. We're accepting the donations now, the works now to display. And we have 2 judges. If anybody knows anybody else that would like to come judge. Yep.
Awesome.
Just let us know.
And
very
just to clarify, she doesn't take interim director until January 31st.
Okay.
Okay, and hopefully, literally 2 to 3 weeks later, we'll have somebody and be able to have someone by the end of February.
Okay.
Make sense?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Red River Regional.
Okay, so I sent out the report and you should have a printed version in front of you. So the first section, we've changed it up a little bit this time. We are working on changing the report altogether a little bit. But so the first kind of section here is just showing you how we are with the trustee certification. Obviously, Mike, Paul, and Pam are all new to the board.
Pam, you didn't do the certification?
I have one module left to do. I thought that I
Oh,
completed it.
okay.
I think it's 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one.
I thought I did it. Did I not do it?
No, it's not the trustee workshop, it's all the modules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
It's
online
all
one,
the
and I went to
online
the workshop, but
modules.
I thought I was done too, and I have one module
Okay.
left.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then I
there-
need to meet with you.
Slackers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
But there's a way to sign, so you can go to this report and just click on it and register for the
Okay.
program, and you'll be
Alright.
good. And I'm meeting with Pam very soon to do a trustee orientation, which we haven't done yet, so we'll be getting that. soon, obviously you are working on the budget, which is something that, we appreciate, and I know that you're going to do all the approvals and all that stuff this year. Inclement weather, I'm assuming you have something in place, for that. It's
I think there
coming
is.
up.
Yes, there
this
is something actually in place.
next-
Thursday, yeah.
Do you
We
know?
just got a text message from the mayor closing the building for Friday.
Okay.
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 Well,
That's
the-
By the way.
that's kind
Yeah,
of
by the
what
way.
it's school. So Caitlin is here and she's in charge of training and tracking training for staff members. So per the library service agreement, staff members have to have a certain amount of hours every year. And this summer, Caitlin went through and talked to you guys about kind of what happened last year. So now we're in the middle of the year and looking at where we are. And I think Caitlin has already emailed everyone just reminding.
Not yet, but I
We
will.
will.
I will
Yeah.
hunt you.
Yeah.
No,
Just, and obviously we have a lot of trainings coming up the rest of the calendar year. The library board appointment form, I think I've mentioned this a few times and I've talked to Joanna now and it's messy to say the least. So I didn't even want to show it to you guys because it's been a lot of turnover on this board and it's hard to keep track of everyone. So we'll sit down with Joanna, Kate and I probably will do that in the next couple of weeks and get that all sorted. So next time we come, we'll actually show that on the board report where you are and who you're missing and who's going off when. I think the next one going off is Jackie. Anyway, so that's,
And she's at her second term.
so
She can't be reappointed.
She can't be renewed at that point. So, and then we also wanted to show you kind of where you are with the technology grant. And Caitlin, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'll be really, really brief. You can see each library applied. So the second column is their award, and if you notice, the third column is how much they've spent in total, and it's exactly double because the award is money from the state, and then they have to spend an equal amount in local funding. So in total, that's how much they spend, and then they get the award back. So it is double the equipment for half the price. That might be wrong, but I think that's the general census of it. Yeah. So they did a great job. Yeah.
And the deadline for that is sometime
April.
Man, I can't wait to see how the mayor spends Hendersonville's money.
Sorry, I just spit everywhere.
I'm gonna move on from that,
I know.
and then I'm
and then
gonna.
you have to want to talk about the training.
Yes.
Never sitting next to you again.
So,
50% honor.
no. I need a parachute to get out of this. Okay, there's none in January. There's no trains in January because the weather is always so iffy. But we do have several. We have 2 in February and then 1 in March. One of them is online only, and the other 2 are in person only. So we don't have any hybrids, which is, I know it could be inconvenient, but if you want to know anything about this, you can ask me and I'll let you know.
How long are the trainings?
They vary. So the first
Okay.
one is 2 hours. The
Okay.
second one I think is 5, and I think third one is also 5.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, thank you for
We
saying
want
that.
to we met with Paul yesterday and it was really nice to be able to
It's
spend
a-
time and do an orientation with him. So
That was great.
yeah,
Thanks.
we appreciate that.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you all so much. Appreciate all of this and all this information. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, and I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So motion we adjourn?
Already done.
Okay,
Second.
Jim, Kaylee, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions?
Don't bother me.
Awesome.
Opposed?
Thank you.
It's kind of our thing.
It's a 5.